Welcome to Sam's Odyssey. The current chapter will take us on a fascinating journey in the world of stories and parables. Stories with a moral. The Farmer and the Snake is a well-known Chinese wisdom. The Crow and the Stork, a story with a moral. The Lion and the Mouse, a story with a moral. The Fisherman and the Hunter is a well-known Chinese wisdom. The Frog and the Scorpion, an ancient parable with a moral.
Thank you for choosing Sam's Odyssey channel. Here is a well-known Chinese wisdom colon the farmer and snake. On only of the winter days, when the frost and snow had not yet melted, the farmer ploughed his fields, and his plough barely burned the frozen ground. The farmer discovered a strange thing sticking out of the ground, like a snake lying motionless in the snow. The farmer knew that the snake was not to be trusted, because its venom was bad. The farmer's first instinct was to walk away, but something in the helpless condition of the hideous and dangerous creature stirred compassion in the farmer's heart. Despite the warnings echoing in his mind, he gently picked up the frozen snake. He patted the snake with his thick coat and took it to the warm cabin and placed the snake by the fireplace. All evening long the farmer took care of the unexpected snake. As night fell, the snake's eyes began to flicker and show signs of life. The farmer smiled, satisfied with his good deed. "Welcome to the world of the living," he said quietly, reaching out to check that the snake had warmed up enough. At that moment, the snake struck at lightning speed. Its fangs sank deep into his hand, and the snake's teeth dug into the farmer's arms. The snake looked at him with cold, unblinking eyes. "And Sienna, you knew what I was when you found me. My nature remains unchanged." When the villagers found him the next morning, they marveled at the peaceful expression on his face, and how his hand was still resting open, as if offering help until the end. For the moral of history, alone's life, one is aware of the dangers in life, and yet we are not careful enough. And all one's life repeats the same mistakes and gets stung again and again. Use these insights to create and learn life, and be careful not to trust humans and evil animals. Thanks for watching Sam's Odyssey channel, and thanks for liking me. Welcome to Sam's Odyssey, a story with a moral. The Crow and the Stork. Once upon a time, a crow and a stork, two good friends, lived in peace and harmony. One day, the crow decided to host his best friend in his house. The crow prepared a magnificent feast. On the table, he placed a deep bowl full of good things: seeds, lizards and small rodents, favorite foods of the crows. Invited the crow after honoring the stork to stay. "Dear stork, come and taste what I made for you," cried the crow with a smile. The devotee sat down at the table and looked at the bowl. With her long and thin beak, she tried with all her might to reach the delicious food, but in vain. The bowl was too flat, and the lid didn't reach the bottom. Sad and hungry, the devotee returned to her home hungry and sad. The next day, the stork decided to repay the crow for the hospitality. She invited him to her house and prepared a special meal for him. In a long, narrow jar, exactly the size of a house, she placed a handful of delicious insects, grasshoppers and crickets. Invited the stork the crow to roost. "Dear crow, come and taste what I made for you," exclaimed the devotee with a smile. The crow approached the jar, but it too could not eat. Its short and thick beak could not reach the insects at the bottom of the jar. Hungry and disappointed, the crow returned to his home. Hungry and sad. Moral: it is very important to consider others and try to understand the other. As it was said, each person and his habits, and each person will live by his covenant, and we do not have the authority to change the person wherever he is. This parable can be used as an excellent message to teach us about the importance of consideration for others, friendship and gratitude. Thank you for watching Sam's channel. I will be happy if you like me and share me. Thank you. I appreciate you very much.
Welcome to Sam's Odyssey, a story with a moral about
The Lion and the Mouse. One day, an enormous lion lay in the shade of a thick acacia tree.
He was full and satisfied. Suddenly, he felt a slight movement on his face.
He lazily opened one eye and saw a tiny mouse walking on his forehead. "Hey!" the lion roared loudly, and the mouse was so frightened that it froze in place.
The lion, despite his size, was a smart creature. He understood that the mouse was not a threat to him, but still felt the need to demonstrate his power.
"What are you doing here, tiny creature?" asked the lion in a thunderous voice. The mouse replied, "Sorry, sir, I didn't mean to disturb you.
I am just looking for a safe place to hide."
The lion began to laugh loudly
and asked the mouse, "How you since disturbed my rest?" "But," continued the lion, "I'll do you a favor this time. Go your way, just don't do it again."
The mouse thanked the lion and continued on his way,
and bless his luck that he was not devoured by the lion.
Many days passed in the jungle, and the great lion fell into the cable trap that man had set to hunt the beasts of the forest. The lion shouted loudly for help and no one came, and only the little mouse heard and came to his aid.
The mouse gnawed with its sharp teeth the cables that bind the lion in the trap, and thus the lion was freed and went free.
Song of Wisdom: be kind to the weakest person, because many days the weakest person will need his help to save you. Thanks for watching Sam's Odyssey, and please like and share.
Thank you for choosing Sam's Odyssey channel. Here is a well-known Chinese wisdom. Know the difference between fishing and hunting. Two approaches to life. The fisherman reaches the sea, throws the rod and leans back. He lights a cigarette, puts on a radio with the music he likes, and while the bait is in the water, he sits calmly and waits for the fish. Everything is good, not fast, not pushing. The fish will arrive excellent, with know he has the peace. This is how time passes for his pleasure. But the hunter is a completely different story. The hunter gets up early, wears the hunter's coat, wears the high hunting boots. He does not sit for a second and goes out into the field. His whole body is in motion, scans the area and tracks every movement in the area and every rustle. Hunting does not build luck, it creates it. Every opportunity the hunter acts and initiates does not stop until he achieves the goal. The connection to life. The images of fishing and hunting serve us to understand the different approaches we can adopt in life for two people with different approaches to life. Fishing, patience, calm and waiting for the opportunity. He trusts in luck and coincidences. The hunt, works, initiates and creates opportunities. He is actively looking for the opportunity, planning his steps. Wisdom. Put yourself on the side of the fisherman or the hunter to apply your way to life. Use these insights to create the life you want to live. Thanks for watching Sam's Odyssey channel, and thanks for liking me.
There lives a big and wise frog. One day, while she was resting at the water's edge, a small scorpion approached her and asked her for extraordinary help. "Dear frog," the scorpion began his conversation, "I see you are an excellent swimmer. Will you agree to carry me on your back to the other bank? I don't know how to swim." The frog looked at the scorpion apprehensively. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" she asked carefully. "What will prevent you from stinging me in the middle of the road? What will prevent you from stinging me when we reach the end of the river bank?" The scorpion gave a small smile and replied, "Don't worry, dear frog. I promise you I won't sting you. After all, if I do, we'll both drown." The frog hesitated, but was finally convinced. She thought to herself that maybe the scorpion was right. Maybe this time he really intends to keep his promise. Gently, the scorpion climbed onto the frog's back, and they began to cross the river. When they reached the middle of the road, the frog felt a sharp stab in its back. She immediately understood what had happened. The scorpion stung her, said the frog. With the rest of her strength, she asked the scorpion, "Why did you do that? You said you wouldn't sting me." The scorpion smiled bitterly and said in a weak voice, "This is my nature and I cannot change it." Both began to drown and passed away. Moral: the nature of the simple person in real life. It is like the nature of the frog. Acts according to the instincts, but tends to gamble on unreliable promises. And the nature of man in politics and business is like the nature of the scorpion. Tact without distinction to reality and logic, and go for the whole pot, even if it costs him his life. The parable of the frog and the scorpion is a short but deep parable, with many messages. He reminds us to be careful, think with an open mind, and learn from the mistakes of others. Thank you for watching Sam's channel, and please give me a like. Thank you.